Hey guys, RC with Digital Tech Reviews, bringing you a video that I guess is a little bit behind or a little bit late. Anybody who's watched my channel or has been following my channel for any amount of time knows that a few months ago I did an unboxing of the D-Power Digivice version 3 and kind of started a little ball rolling on a review of the different versions of the D-Ark / D-Power. It started, like I said, with the D-Power Digivice version 3. That was modeled after the D-Ark Ultimate, the Japanese version. The follow-up video to that was the American release, which was called the D-Power. When I say American release, I think it was the North American release, where we got 3 different colors, but they were basically all the same. And I did a review of that, and logically, I guess next should have been the Japanese D-Ark review, but I kind of got sidetracked on that and never really got around to it. And about 2 weeks ago, while perusing eBay, I came across an item that just screamed, hey, you gotta get this, do an unboxing, and then you can do your review of it. And since I've already done business with the seller before, I figured, I might as well go ahead and try it. Matter of fact, I picked up the WonderSwan color with the Digimon Anode Cathode combo pack that I did an unboxing and review of. I picked up from this guy. The seller's name is Salmon Goodies, Korean based, but both times, this time and the first time, it only took about 10 or 11 days to actually get to me, which for international post is not bad. And considering this was shipped around the holiday seasons or around Thanksgiving time, really extremely well. And now that enough of the backstory, let's get into the item. And that is the horribly out of focus D-Ark Ultimate. There we go. Now, if the box looks a little weird to you, I'll get into that in a minute. But basically, this is going to be another Young Toys because it does come from Korea. If you watched my Japanese D-Scanner unboxing / review, you would remember that Young Toys is not a bootleg. It is an actual official licensed reseller of Bandai products in Korea. But here's this, and here's the interesting part. Here's what really caught my eye. This is the internet version. Now, if you have watched my previous video of the American or North American release D-Power Digivice, you know that it had a sort of an online game feature. If you haven't called it, I'll put a link in the show notes or in the comments or the description, or you can just check my channel out and just review that, where I mentioned that it has an computer connection, it had an online game. It wasn't all that great. One of the coolest features of that actual product was the fact that you could save your progress on the D-Power, and if the batteries ever died, you could always re-upload the progress you made back onto it via the cable that came with it. This, I don't know. I've never heard of it before. And that's what caught my attention. It's branded all over the place with this digitalmonster.co.kr, which probably is no longer into effect. Here we go. Bandai 2001, made in China. Here's the Young Toys emblem here, that green elephant. This is just the, basically, I think this is just a cut and paste of the side packaging of a D-Ark Digivice. And yeah, all this is this is Korean, I believe. Could be mistaken. I know this is, but the characters look Korean. On the back it shows this internet connector, the D-Ark Digivice Ultimate Edition, and Gallimon. And right here it says home page, which unfortunately probably doesn't work anymore. On the side here, again with the digitalmonsters.co.kr, and I'm not sure if this was supposed to be representing your connection to the internet, but let's get into this. Top. Okay. Looks like the D-Ark is packaged on its own. You get this nice sweet little packaging. The exact same package that you'd get if you were bought this in Japan, except for this would be in Japanese and not Korean. On the back, obviously, youngtoys.com. Here's the little emblem Anything else on here? Yeah, see, digitalmonster.co.kr and bandaicorea.co.kr. So yes, officially licensed product, the Digimon Link system. And of course, Pac-Man hates square pellets. Actually, that's the H thing. But hang on, let's get to that. Let's get to this. This Great Unknown. Or at least I have never heard of it, and honestly, when I did a little research on it, well, quick research, I didn't come across anything about it. This, I guess it's supposed to be fashioned after the shape, I guess, would be Season 1 Digivice. Either that or a Power Rangers Morpher. Not sure. Branded by Young Toys. Digitalmonster.co.kr again. The rest of it I cannot read, except for Bandai. And here, Bandai 1997, 1988, basically 1997 through 2002. Okay, here it shows the D-Power, the D3. And what is this? The pendulum? Does that mean they could all connect to this? Whatever game website this was? Oh. Okay. One slight snag. I guess I'll have to find out if that website's even up. If not, I won't even bother opening this because I don't even have a COM port. Huh. Maybe a COM port to USB adapter? That's kind of a letdown, being the main reason I bought it. But we'll get back to that later. We'll do this unboxing and review of the Japanese. I'm going to refer to this as the Japanese D-Power or Japanese D-Ark because, for all intents and purposes, that's what it is. There's the box. Let's get this open. I think the Ultimate always came with, always came with some cards. Usually the same, the same two. Not sure which ones they are. Card number 1. Card number 2. Really don't know what they are. Can't read any of it. But they look really cool, and obviously they show authentic with the old swiping feature. Manual, again, all in Korean. Yeah, exact same thing, honestly. Probably the menu system on the D-Ark will be Japanese. You start off with 3 Digimon. Now, the interesting thing about the Japanese ones were, you started off with 3, you picked one of the 3 Digimon. Then you have to train it, and only after you fully trained one would the next become available, or would you come across the next one. So you actually had to spend time with one of them to get another one, and train on it, and then when you had to train all the way up before the third one became available. So it actually kind of a cool feature, so you couldn't just pick one and then collect all the other ones and pretty much ignore them. Another good feature is different types. I think it was a virus data vaccine. Not quite sure if I remember that correctly, but I do know that for the training and for the battling system, Guilmon was hit the A button, try to get over 26 hits. Renamon was up, down, left, right. I think it was up, down, left, right. And Terriermon was the only one you actually shook to train or battle, and that was try to get just 6 shakes. So that was kind of cool. I mean, you could figure out if you were in an area where you couldn't do a lot of actions, you would pick Renamon or whatever attribute Digimon you come across if she was data or vaccine, and it was just up, down, left, right. Quick way to do a battle. But I have no idea what the rest of this says. I know how to work a Digivice through the fact that it is very easy to figure out. And here is the D-Ark Ultimate, or Ultimate D-Ark. The most show-authentic Digivice out of all 3 of the lines. The D-Power Digivice version 3 was close, obviously. You can tell it was molded after this. But remember, this was a reset button on that one. This is actually the screen power on and off. The buttons, though, these are extremely show-authentic. The ones on the American and also the D-Power version 3 were nowhere near as nice as these. And this is, the up and down are plastic. but the left and the right, or the select and the cancel, are this nice soft rubber that is completely show authentic. The card slashing feature here, and even the back on the show, it had this indentation here. Now, one thing to note is the D-Power version 3 and this one both take 1 button battery. Now, the American version took 2 AAAs, so they actually last longer. Let's pull this tab. I'm pretty sure this battery will still be good. Of course it is. Let's see if I can get this into focus here. Comes out with the Bandai. Set the time. I'm going to leave it as noon. I'll set that later. To scroll through, it's up and down instead of side to side. Now, I know it shows arrows on both sides, and most people would think, hey, left and right. No. Basically, it's up and down, select and cancel. Terriermon, Renamon. Now, people who've watched my other videos or actually own the D-Power version 3 or the North American release D-Power Digivice can tell a lot different on these sprites. These are a lot more detailed, which seems to be very common with the Japanese releases. They're a lot better looking. We're just going to stick with Guilmon, which is select. Yay! He'll go through in training, rookie, and then there we go. Okay, let's go through the menu system, or let's just check. If you hit the cancel button one time, shows you a map, shows you the area you're in. Now, if you hit select while in the map section, it'll tell you how many steps are before you hit the end of that area or stage, and how many steps you've taken. There, taken 3. Cancel goes back again. If you want to hit the menu system, it is up and down. So the first one comes up is the training. That is the card swipe function, where you can either swipe in items that you can use in battle or outside of battle, and where you swipe in Digimon. Now, I've read, I haven't had an ultimate before, so I don't know, but I've read that the ultimates, you can actually swipe in any Digimon that you want to, if you know their code, without having to encounter them, whereas the other versions required that you either encountered them in the game, or you know, there's a little cheat you could do. So that one's actually kind of cool about this. Now, let's see. Here is your encyclopedia or dictionary, Digipedia. This is where every Digimon you've encountered, you can find information about them. And I don't know what that is. That isn't on any of my other ones. I have no idea. I have to come back to that one. This is items. Obviously the items that you scan in. This is medical. You know, it's the same thing on all of them. If your Digimon loses a battle and then gets injured, you have to go through medical before it can do anything else. Now, this is the Digimon Link system, and I believe this is the Wonder Swan, which I haven't even covered that, but not the game I have, not the anode cathode, but there are different Digimon games that are compatible with this, that you can actually, they got a little transfer cable that attaches here into the side of the Wonder Swan. So that's really kind of awesome. And starts back over. So let's see. See, I don't have enough DP, which are digital points. I have to walk some so I can actually start training him. So I can't just start training him up and just have him maxed out before I get any farther in the game, which is actually kind of cool. Another interesting feature about these, instead of any other Digivice that I've come across, the D-Power version 3 and also the North American D-Power itself, you can play it anytime you wanted to. There was no sleep function. On this one, I think it's either 8 or 9 p.m. your Digimon will go to sleep. Now, obviously you can wake him up, and I think it plays for 15 minutes and then it goes back to sleep. So that's a cool little feature on there. It gives it a little bit more of a interactive, more of an immersive gameplay. But other than the design of that, you know, there's the functions for it, and this thing is the most complete show authentic version that you can get, and that's the Japanese version. Let's put this tab back in there. Of course, it'll stay alive, and then battery's dead. Oh, I forgot to mention on the back, here's your speaker, and here's your reset button. So that is it. Getting really close to the wire here. So this is RC with Digital Tech Reviews. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.